let's go back to the other piece about domestic violence in the workplace and the killings in workplaces of victims. They have stats like from 2003 to 2008, they have 142 women were murdered in their workplace because of domestic violence. I'm pretty sure that number's gone up since 2008.
It's horrible. It is, and people don't realize we've had, instances in Memphis where that's happened.
Yes.
The Family Safety Center, we've done, a fantastic job of enhancing victim safety, and we've only lost one of our clients ever, and she was murdered at her workplace, but the judge didn't sign off on the order of protection because he didn't think she was in danger because she didn't have enough proof to give. So we were doing everything we could do on our end, but then it came down to that, and they ended up not issuing the order of protection, and then he went to her workplace and killed her. So they've been a lot more. When we're sending it over, we haven't really had as much problem with that, but it's like you have to learn some hard lessons sometimes, because I think that people really don't realize that it's not rational. You can't look at this and say, all the time, 100%, it's not black and white. And if a victim feels in danger, I tend to think they are, because they have reasons, and nobody knows what that person is like the victim does.
I thought something good came out of the documentary when the group that was there, Speak Out, and one of them, they were survivors of domestic violence. And she said that it takes the lady almost 8 times to really leave the relationship. She leave, go back, leave, go back, leave, and go back. So as a supporter of somebody in domestic violence, you can't give up on them and just throw your hands or wash your hands with them. And something else came out, Jordan, was that we have to better educate our elected officials who handle these type of cases. For instance, the judge and the prosecutor to sign off on these restraining orders.
We absolutely do, and we really have been very blessed. I feel like that our officials that we deal with, especially, they do try to educate themselves, and they call and they do defer to us on a lot of things, because I think it's more and more being seen as, I think that people a lot of times think, these things aren't as serious, and then if you really get down to it, the number one crime in Memphis is family crime.
Yeah.
So you cannot say that, these are things that don't affect anybody but the victims. It affects their children, their coworkers, their family, their friends. It really is hurting our entire community.
Let's jump to race now. African American women are victimized by intimate partners at a significantly higher rate than our white counterpart and any other race. So because here in Shelby County we have 60% black here, 70% black, something like this. 60. So what are the numbers at the Family Safety Center, white to black ratio?
We primarily do see black women. That's our number one, thing that walks through the door. So we can tell you, that's what we're seeing day to day as well. And a lot of that is, that, it is what our primary, if you're a majority, of course you're going to, but I do feel like our numbers do suggest that it is happening. And a lot of that is breaking, traditional views of male and female dynamics.
Yes.
That's a huge one, I feel like, because a lot of, I think Glenn said the other night that a man, told her, well, I do have a right to hit my wife if she doesn't do. And, you have to train people on a very basic level about these healthy dynamics, because otherwise I really think people want to do better. I think you have to teach them better.
And that's just reported now.
Oh, yeah, I think it's so underreported.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to me, the 1 in 4 and 1 in 9 is misleading, especially with men, because men don't tend to report it.
Right.
And they don't even recognize it as abuse. They think, oh, well, she loves me and she's jealous and it's cute. And she, parks her car behind you and won't let you leave. And she goes through your phone. And she, screams and yells at you in front of your friends. And it's because she loves you so much. No, you're a victim of abuse. This is not okay.
Some guys just crave attention, right?
They do, absolutely. We have had that. Some men definitely, that, I think it does make them feel needed, at a point, they kind of thrive on that drama.
She still loves me, but, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and they, it kind of is, they enjoy the drama of the relationship at some points, but the women are enjoying it too because they're perpetuating that. So, and I don't think they realize how damaging that is to both of them. It seems like an exciting relationship, and you're really causing huge amounts of damage to, both of you and your family and your friends and everybody's having to put up with you in your crazy relationship. So,
I know guys, we mature so much slower normally, and so we look at it like, oh wow, I love the attention and all this, but then you're like, oh, you stop looking at it. You're right, it's totally wrong.
So what about the LGBTQ domestic violence numbers that you get reported to the center and all the above?
No, And when you answer that question, it's a two-part question. Your services that you
Yeah,
are
services.
extending to the LGBTQ community, that was one of the reasons that we partner up to bring the awareness and to help promote the services to the community, that you are inclusive and diverse in your services.
Absolutely. We serve everybody. You know, domestic violence doesn't discriminate, neither do we. We definitely know that it's happening in the exact same rates, if not a little bit higher in some cases, like with transgender. They're the most vulnerable.
Okay.
And they actually have the fewest resources available to them in a lot of communities because of housing issues and people, you know, shelters will get confused and, oh, well, how we classify this person, how they identify, or, you know, and they face a tremendous amount of discrimination. And so what we've done is try to make all of our services where that isn't even a part of the equation. With our housing services, for example, we work with hotels and with apartment units. So it's, you know, single family households. We can help anyone regardless of race, sexual orientation, you know, anything. So we try to be as open as we can because we know that the victims, you know, I love our diverse community and I want to be able to help everybody in it.
Because in the past, there were not a housing location where a transgender female could go.
No, and the really sad thing is that we know that it's happening at the exact same rates in same-sex couples, but the resources have not been out there. And in a lot of cities, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
You know, you've got people that are trying to get help, and even like support groups and things aren't available, just very basic support. So what we do is we work with a variety of partners. You know, that's why we love working with y'all, because, you know, we're able to really get, you know, our message out there so people even know about us and they know they can come to us and not, you know, be discriminated against or not be able to get the same resources as anybody else. And so we also work with the Memphis Gay and Lesbian Community Center. We work with a variety of sources, so we can really plug you into some great, you know, support groups, resources. We have a fund that's administered by a young lady that works at the DA's office, Phyllis Lewis, and it's the Love Doesn't Hurt Fund, and it's specifically for LGBTQ victims of domestic violence. So we actually have some extra things.
So these services are free to the community at large.
Completely free. Yeah, you can come to us. We work with like Memphis Area Legal Services, Child Advocacy Center, Exchange Club, Sister Reach, so we can get, you know, HIV testing. So a lot of people don't realize that infecting somebody with HIV or another STD is a huge form of abuse that comes up, you know, again and again, because that's another form of control and power.
Absolutely.
And we have to teach people that's been abused that it's not your fault. And there is nothing to be ashamed of if you're seeking help.
It isn't, and that's such a huge stigma with people when they get help because, you know, they've been made to feel ashamed for so long. And so really teach them, you know, like you said, that it's not your fault because the abuser's telling them over and over, this is your fault. I wouldn't do this to you if you would do right, if you would do what I say. And that gets drilled in their head over and over. And people don't understand the cycle of abuse. It's not bad all the time or people would leave. It's the fact that abuser is so manipulative, and you go through like this big stage of abuse, but then you go back into this honeymoon phase where they're, you know, sweet as can be, buying you stuff, telling you how much they love you, how they're never going to do it again, and they sucker you back in, and that's part of their ploy, but it really is what happens.
And I don't even know if this is like calculated, because I don't even think that this person realized that they're in a cycle themselves.
They don't. No, I mean, it's just kind of the, you know, sadly, the way that it goes. It's the, you know, the patterns that we all fall into just naturally.
In relationship, you know, the fight and the makeup, and people always say, well, you know, the makeup sex is just wonderful.
Child, please.
No, they used to say that.
No, I've heard it.
Yeah.
That was like, that's like the epitome of the fight, you know, afterwards. So I'm so happy for me that I've overcome a lot of my beliefs about that in relationships, in my past relationship. And when I look back, you know, I think about, you know, I followed some of those same patterns, and the person that I despise, you know, I became that person really, with doing those types of things. So one of the questions that came up Wednesday night was, can the person change? And speaking from being in those situations, the person can change. The person can change with wanting to change and getting the proper education about what it is and what a healthy relationship look like. And that's why we are such big proponents of relationships. That's how our nonprofit was started, Relationship Unleashed, overcoming those learned behaviors and that miseducation that we had about how husband and wives or partners interact with each other, and that cursing and name calling is not normal.
So, with that being said, Jordan, tell us about the Family Safety Center Relationship Unleashed partnering in October for a relationship tune-up.
Yes, that is going to be the last Monday of the month. It's going to be the workshop, and we're going to have one of our staff members, Debbie. She's going to come and talk about all the different resources that are available, and the different dynamics, even specific kinds of abuse that are seen in the LGBTQ community, because a lot of times it isn't the same. So she's going to be really talking about all the different dynamics and things that go into it, and what makes a relationship healthy, and how you can get to that point.
So your part, the Family Safety Center part, is going to be CPR. And that's one of those acronyms.
Cultivating positive relationships, which is, the ultimate goal of all of this. Because like you said, you've broken that cycle, I've broken that cycle, and we want to help other people do that because it is so important, so personal to us. And we know that people are capable, and I want everybody to live in a happy, healthy relationship and not, go through these things.
And if you want to sign up for this free empowerment workshop, it will be October the 26th at 325 Wagner Street from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The website is www.relationshipunleashed.com. Relationshipunleashed.com. It's a free empowerment event. Motivational services, transformational services. We're going to partner with Family Safety Center on October 26th. The seats are limited, so please sign up now for our workshop on October 26th.
And this couples, anyone seeking to improve their relationship skills, learn new things to incorporate in your relationship. Just try something different. So Jordan, we're going to give you last 3 minutes to go ahead and pour out whatever we need to get out over these airways that's important to you and important to the Family Safety Center, because we want to make sure that we give you adequate time to promote these events that you got coming up. You're going to be swinging.
We are going to be swinging for one day only on October the 13th at 1 o'clock, the Links at Galloway. It's going to be our first annual golf tournament, and it will be happening every year, so I guess we are repeat swingers if I think of it that way. But this is the first time, we're, just getting into this business. So it's going to be a great event. We've still got golf spots open if you want to register a team. If you, we've still got a couple of sponsorship slots open, so if you are interested in supporting us in this event in any way, you can reach me at 901-222-4491 is my direct number. And again, that is for golf, not for swinging. So let's make that abundantly clear.
Right.
Yes, and then we also have the Speak Out Sunday events, and that can be very flexible, like what we're doing with Cathedral Praise Church on the Wednesday nights. You can just put something in your newsletter, on your social media, but we know that it's happening in our church community.
Absolutely.
You can look around your church family and you can know it's happening to somebody in that room, undoubtedly. So we really do want to reach people and also teach them about how different abusers, can use the Bible, and even if they don't,
Absolutely.
I was a very spiritual person. I thought, well, God hates divorce, and I stayed in my situation so long because I felt like that God was going to be disappointed in me, or I was going to have failed Him. And now I realize that He never wanted me to live like that, and it was completely in my head. So just really getting in there and telling people that. And also educating our ministers on how to counsel people, because we have so many ministers, that people are coming to them and they maybe aren't equipped and they don't even know what resources are out there to help them.
Go back to your husband.
Yeah, go pray harder. We've heard it all. So, we really, I know. So we really want to make sure the ministers have the tools so that when their congregation members come to them, they don't say pray harder or go home or, the woman's supposed to be submissive, so this is just part of that. It's just so many things. It's amazing what, victims have been told. So we really want to make sure that's not happening, because then they think, well, a man of God said it or a woman of God, so it must be okay.
Well, Jordan, we want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to tell you, for myself and my mother, you are beautiful and you are fierce today with your boots on.
Thank you.
She's going to be a new one.
Got those and that big rock on your finger. You got to put a K on a rock.
I know. I'm only single a little longer, so that's why we're getting our swinging out on October 13th at the golf tournament.
Well, this show has been sponsored by the Family Safety Center. And give us a number again and the website if they want to reach you.
FamilySafetyCenter.org is our website. And our 24-hour hotline is 901-222-4400. And my direct number, if you're interested in more Speak Out Sunday or the golf tournament and swinging with us, it is 901-222-4491.
You heard it from the one and only Jordan Moore, the Family Safety Center. Anything you want to say?
We need some supporters, some sponsors.
No, we need some money. We need some money for this magazine, www.tuvmag.com. We need some money for the radio.